Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. So this video is going to be a little bit different. So as we know, the world as we know it has completely changed. COVID changed all of our lives and how our everyday lives are structured now pretty much. So a lot of children this school year unfortunately are not going back to school, but instead being schooled from home. With that being said, I happen to know a little something about that. I was actually on home studies for the last couple years of high school. It not gonna get into the reason why, besides I was a bad teenager. Let's put that out there. But I actually really loved home studies. I'm a kinesthetic learner, and so that means that some school systems are just not set up for people like me. That I never misunderstood what I was being taught. I was just bored. I hated sitting in a classroom and being told repetitious things all the time. For me, if I learn it, I just learn it and I go on. I don't need too much repetition for me to learn things. So home studies was perfect for me. However, being on home studies and being a teenager wasn't always easy. So here are just some tips and tricks that I learned while being on home studies that really helped me stay focused and help me get through home studies to graduate high school. Let's start off with tip 1. So when I was in high school, social media was not as big of a thing as it is now. I literally had a flip phone. It wasn't a touchscreen or anything. So it was super easy for me not to be online during when I wanted to do my school hours. However, for me, I am nocturnal. I've been nocturnal since I was a baby. I literally was nocturnal in my mother's stomach. So doing homework while there was sunlight out was really hard for me. I always want to be asleep when it's sunny. That's just how I've always been. So I set time that I knew I would be awake and thriving to do my homework. And that time for me was after my mother went to sleep. So 10 p.m. until like 1 or 2 in the morning, those were my homework hours. Seems crazy, right? But I knew during those hours, everybody was asleep. I would turn my cell phone off and I would focus on my schoolwork. And that is tip 1, is to know your most productive hours. It is okay if you're not productive at the same time everyone else is, as long as you get the work done. Tip 1, pick your productive hours, turn your phone off, and really focus. Let's move on to tip 2. So with me being nocturnal and sleeping during the day, it kind of made it a little bit daunting, I guess, different for me. So I'm also a very social person. I really like to talk to my friends all the time. Luckily, most of my friends were on home studies like me in high school, so I would walk to their houses during the day if I was awake. And being social is super important, but it has to have a time and a place. If you know that these are your set hours, 10 to 2 in the morning, you can't be social during that time, and I know it sucks. So a great thing that worked for me, and this might not work for you, is I would do all of my, so let's say the teacher gave me a week to do my homework. I would do all of my homework within that first day or 2 days, depending how much I had. So that way I could spend the rest of the week being social and I didn't have to worry. Honestly, that's what worked best for me. That might not work best for you, but if you can, try to get all your homework done at once. Do not procrastinate to do your homework at the end of the week. Try to get everything done at the beginning so you can just cruise by the rest of the week. Have fun with your friends. Tip 3. So, while being on home studies, like I said, I was nocturnal. I didn't always walk to my friend's house. A lot of times they would come to my house. I went a whole month without sunlight. So I got really sick because you really need vitamin D. I literally was so light, and that's not natural for me. I'm obviously Latina. I'm pretty dark naturally. I was so light. It was because I hadn't seen the sun. So please sit outside in the sunlight for at least 30 minutes a day. Whether it's being active outside or just sitting outside to get those rays of sun, you need vitamin D. It's actually really important. I don't know if people tell you that, but it's really important. That's why Sunny D is called Sunny D. I did not know that, okay? I was like, what? I'm sick because I didn't get enough sunlight? Who doesn't get enough sunlight? But it becomes really easy not to leave your house when you're used to being home and you start getting into a routine of not leaving your house, especially when you're a kid, you don't really have a car, you don't really have places to go, especially right now with everything being shut down. Staying inside is super easy. And I know it's really hot outside right now because it's summertime, but try to at least get outside, even if it's just to go for a walk, even if you're just opening up your windows and like sitting near the sunlight. Get sunlight. Sunlight's super important to your mental health because the vitamin D is what makes you feel good. It's what brightens your mood a little bit. And so if you're feeling down, sad, being stuck in the house, sit in your backyard, get rays of sunlight, take a cute selfie, get sunlight. I cannot stress that one enough. Here is tip 4 for my home studies tricks. Okay, this one's gonna be a weird one. Try to get yourself on an eating schedule. Even though I'm nocturnal, I never ate at night because I gained a lot of weight on home studies from not having like a regulated eating schedule and just kind of eating whatever I want whenever I wanted. I wasn't really going places, so I started to gain weight and it made me so sad because I felt really stuck in the house, and then on top of that, I started to gain weight. So get yourself on an eating schedule. Luckily, we didn't have what you guys have when I was in high school, YouTube. Okay, there's so many great workouts that you can do from home on YouTube. Check out Chloe Ting. I'll actually link her in my description box because she has some great workouts to stay active, to keep your mood up. Being on home studies can sometimes make your mood a little sad because you're not being surrounded by your friends, by people, especially during COVID. You really can't be around people. So make sure to stay active. Staying active will help your brain, and during that time when you're focused, your brain's going to be going because all that adrenaline from working out earlier, it's just going to pump and fuel your brain. You're going to feel good, motivated, and you're going to learn better. Trust me. That is why PE is so important in school, because working out helps you learn better. Telling you. And with that, we're going to go into tip 5. So I am currently doing online college and I love it. I hated going to school. Being on home studies in high school and then trying to go to college was really hard for me. Sitting in a classroom, you guys, I want to rip my hair out. I cannot sit in classrooms. I can't sit still, period. That's just not my personality. If I have to sit still for too long, I tend to fall asleep. It's kind of why I don't like movie theaters. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. So staying active is really important. I covered that in 4. But here's a trick that I learned while doing homework on home studies in high school. When I get stuck on a problem that I don't understand, I know that you're supposed to skip it and come back to it. Sometimes what I do is I will do push-ups or jumping jacks or squats, something to get my blood flowing, and I say the problem to myself, or I read it as I'm moving around, or I'll pace. Like I'll literally pick up my book and pace back and forth in this room or my room, depending on where I'm doing my homework, and I just pace. I'll move around. Getting your blood flowing can sometimes help you solve problems. Being active while doing homework can actually help you solve those problems. So keep that in mind. When you're doing your homework and you start to feel stuck, get up, move around. It is okay. Kinesthetic learners tend to be hands-on learners. We are people that tend to have to move to learn. Not everybody's like that. If you're a visual learner, try and draw the problem out. Try and act it out. Honestly, just get moving, get up. Don't let yourself feel stuck, and don't feel dumb if you need a little help. That's what your teachers are there for once a week, or if you have class every day and you have questions, it is okay to have questions. But if you feel like you can solve it yourself by getting up and just moving around, I'm telling you, it helps. So those are my 5 tips and tricks for home studies. These are things that worked for me while I was on home studies. These are things that work for me now while in college. It's a little different now because I'm an adult and I have a full-time job while doing school and YouTube and my writing. I'm kind of always busy, so my time to do homework now is immediately when I get off of work, because that's what works best for me right before I get super tired. Honestly, if I could, I would sleep all day and be up all night like a little owl. But as an adult, things change. For me, being nocturnal as a child and teen was really hard for me. Home studies was amazing and really helped me, and I absolutely loved it. I loved to learn on my own, and I loved how I had those adult responsibilities as a teen, you know what I mean? Like, I felt so adult that nobody was gonna tell me how to do my homework. I got to do it at my own speed, and I got to do it faster. So don't worry, the world will go back to normal. And I know right now it just feels so sad and daunting, like everything is going to stay this way, and it's not. The world is constantly changing, trust me. We can get into, I can go into lists and lists of things that didn't exist when I was in high school that became huge within a couple years later when my cousin went to high school. So things will go back to normal, you guys. Hang in there during this time of COVID. I know that you're missing your friends, you know, Zoom your friends, and I know it's not the same as actually being with them. Trust me, I know I'm missing my friends too. But stay inside, protect yourselves, make sure that you're social distancing. This virus is bad and it's getting a lot of people, so please stay safe during this time. Please remember to be responsible while washing hands if you're out in places and wearing your mask. And remember, this is just a small period of your life, and this will be a time that you get to tell your grandchildren about, your friends about in 10 years. Everything will eventually become a funny story. With that being said, thank you for watching, you guys. I hope that you like this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I do a little bit of everything on this channel. Make sure you hit that like button. Parents, if you're watching this for your children, try and remember their kids stuck inside. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.